Doing all right today, bud?
I'm hella sore today.
Jim?
Basketball done with the guys.
Hmm.
Is that I still got some moves?
Uh, I bet that is up for debate.
There's a lot of Snapchat showing that I did pretty well. Got some winning shots, opening shots,
Okay.
blocks in between. And the worst part is that I'm tall.
hmm
So of course I'm gonna go up against the tallest dude there.
hmm
And and down at the bottom, it's always very physical.
Yeah.
Underneath the basket,
Yeah.
man, we ended up tumbling a couple of times on each other on the floor. That's how intense it got.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of intense, this intro is intense. Not really. It's the intro for the Daily Cup of Genre, guys. Welcome to it. It's the show where we talk about, well,
Things.
everything.
Talk about things.
It's also brought to you guys by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Go check them out, growgeneration.com. Tell them that LRM Online and the Genreverse Podcast Network sent you guys. Speaking of all that, hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. And then if you're listening to us on audio, hit the follow button. Share us with some friends and family. Keep your notifications on. All this great content goes up like, God, all the time. Interviews, podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and more. Anyways, dude, we've got like a lot of Star Wars stuff going on. People could check out some pretty big reveals yesterday, with hopefully more to come. But I know you were really interested in some box office numbers this past weekend, and uh, how the media cycle kind of went with them this time,
Yeah.
and things kind of seem to get pushed aside, except for one group of people that are touting it as some sort of success. I don't get it, but what did you notice about the Black Widow numbers this weekend? Because if anyone's not tracking it, it had a drastic 67%. We say drastic in normal days, we'd
Yeah.
consider that drastic. Um, we don't have any new Disney Plus numbers, and
No, we do
it
not. Good luck getting those.
underperformed. Yeah, it underperformed in it compared to expectations in the theaters by like 8 to 10 million, I think, under what the low estimates were for the weekend. So, yeah, man, what do you think happened? Do you think like the Disney fan, I don't want to say fan, but you know they're what's the word? They're like zealots, the Disney zealot media out there saying, "Oh, well, you got to think Disney Plus is doing really good, and people are probably watching it on that." And I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, the feeling I got all the way around was that there's a lot of people who are like, not necessarily gonna go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, yeah, it does help when you have it on Disney Plus. It's gonna skew those numbers a little bit. And we talked about it. We needed Disney to come with that same energy week to week then with your streaming numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If especially if you're gonna have something on Premiere. But obviously that did not happen. I'm pretty sure that those numbers also took a drastic fall. It just shows that the movie wasn't that you know
Popular.
pop. Yeah, thank you. That's the word.
Like, I don't hear a lot of people saying, not a lot of people saying that they hate it, that I know personally. A lot of people like you and I, where it's like, this was good and this was good, to the rest,
Yeah,
and like one or two things where it's like, no.
and you don't, and there's no reason to go see it again.
Yeah.
With other with other Disney Marvel Studios movies, some of them they almost you almost want an encore to go see it again. It's like, hey, you know what, we'll go see it again because I think we may have missed a few things or blah
Yeah.
blah blah. That's not the case with Black Widow. Then out of nowhere you have Space Jam, which grossed a little bit over 31 million. It was expected to do about 20,
Yep.
and it surprised everyone.
Got railed
Uh,
against too before opening to general audiences too.
yeah, and that one's also available on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's streaming, and yet it did very well. One thing I do want to say about Space Jam, there's a lot of it goes back and forth because a lot of people, the critics hated it, and then there was a good chunk of audience that went first and really said this movie was bad, me being included. And then another group of people came over and were like, "Hey, this movie's for kids, and this movie's not made for 30-year-olds. So stop being so sour about it and just enjoy it for what it is."
Hmm.
Um, excuse me, I love me some kids movies.
Yeah.
I have a 10-year-old daughter who her and I enjoy all kinds of kids movies. And I'm one of the people who really like Teen Titans Go because it's a kids show. And some of those other Gumball and
Yeah.
just come on, I could go down the list of different things that we watch. Um, it was just very, very poorly executed, and LeBron James can't act to save his life. And is and I really thought that what the first film did, which was focusing more of on the Looney Tunes,
Hmm.
this one flipped it a little bit and was a little too much focused on LeBron and his relationship with his son. And I was like, this isn't really what I signed up for as far as a Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
So I just what and whatever. If you enjoyed it, that's great. I didn't. It's I'm very shocked though that Cinema Score gave it an A minus. That it
That's weird.
that's what's shocking because that is there is in no way in hell that that's an A minus film. Um,
Someone found out where they were going to be handing out their cards and paid some people.
yeah, that is
It
an
is
atrocious score.
it is technically one of, and just so people can see, I got the numbers up here, actually the numbers.com. You know, 25 million, when you look at it's in its second week in a pandemic, in a week where you had rising numbers in many places across the US, let alone other places in the world. uh all things considered, in today's context, I really don't know if I would sneeze at the 25 million on a second weekend. Like I don't, we don't even know what to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? Um in addition to the fact that Black Widow did have good competition in its second weekend from Space Jam. In addition to the fact most people don't seem to be sold on it, either not caring or disliking, with I think the minority being people that fully enjoyed the film, like
Ye-
Brian and Nick. That's a smaller group, while most people I think
Right.
are indifferent, and then another small group of people that hated it. Uh
I think the actual numbers might have been bigger. It
Possibly.
it
Still would have been
in a
bad.
pre-COVID, I don't think it would fall.
No.
I mean, we had Nick beforehand making all these claims that it was going to make over 1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not in this world and not in any world was that going to make over 1 billion.
No.
There's no reason necessarily for Marvel fans to and I mean sorry,
Expect it to do that.
not
Yeah.
not Marvel fans, casual fans to for them to really get sold into Black Widow. Especially if right now you're trying to make a decision of what movies do I really need to watch and what really do I don't. This isn't necessarily one of them. Um, Escape Room came at number three. It was just a little bit under 9 million,
Mm.
and that was just fun. It was. I enjoyed it for what it was. I knew kind of, and I had an idea, of course, what was going to happen in it because it was pretty obvious. But those escape rooms, besides the death part, were fun to watch, and it made me want to go do an escape room again. I don't know if you've done an escape room before, but
I
they
mean, I've
are
done them in real life, stop training
oh
and stuff like that.
well
But
they're
yeah.
intense and fun. I
Yeah.
did one over the last one I did was a couple years back. Not a couple, it's more than a couple years now. The San Diego Comic Con, they had Jack Ryan escape room that I participated
I
in. It was
think
a
New
lot of fun.
York had one in 19, I think it was. I think they had an escape room type thing. I don't remember what the franchise was that used it. Um, the last thing I'll say on this is on the Black Widow aspect. 260 right now. If we take Disney at their word on opening weekend, there's an additional 60 million in Disney Plus revenue. You're looking at 320. Does this reach what most were calling the 400 to 450 million mark to break even worldwide? It really depends on those Disney Plus numbers, and I honestly don't know how to take the lack of second week reporting, and we really won't know until Shang-Chi, which I think is the next big release, like blockbuster release that is already said to be both premiere access and theater. Feige's on record, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, down in the comments. But I believe he's on record saying that that's their decision point, like based on that, on whether or not they look at still offering some Disney Plus. I'll say this: while Mike's math wasn't 100% scientific, just the idea of taking the numbers that they gave us and dividing that through the amount of subscribers to find, a rough estimate of how many subscribers ordered it, or households ordered it. And we got about 2 million households out of 103 subscribed. 103 million subscribed, roughly 2 million and change, according to Mike's math, ordered it. How many ordered it this weekend? And then, Disney comes out, and you had all these places running with the headlines that were, and the bullet points that may have been, I don't want to say suggested, but were given in information distro. And it seems so disingenuous, as disingenuous as the people that were trying to spin it all in a negative light. It's like, look, this is Fast 9 and Black Widow are really the first two movies that we're going to have to judge everything else on. To look at how the Suicide Squad does, how Shang-Chi does. Like, these are the we can't really judge these movies yet. Does that make sense? Like a final, we can sit there all day long and say, yeah, this looks bad, and we can say, where things look questionable compared to what Disney themselves are saying or what others are reporting. All we can do is show you guys the numbers and give our opinions on it. I think it's a combination of things. Like I said, man, the 25 million second week this day and age, I don't know if that's a bad take, but that Disney Plus numbers, man, 2 million houses out of 103. It's not good. It's not good at all. And you know what really, really sucks, and I do not condone piracy, and I hope people aren't breaking the law. It's great to back up your own movies and games and whatnot, but a general search will show you that all of these day and date streaming and theater premieres, dude, they're pirated. So they're pirated day zero in full 4K or 1080p semi uncompressed audio. Usually it's a compressed Dolby track, but still, the fact that you can download a 10 gig copy of a brand new movie in legit 1080p HD quality, you no longer see the TS rips, the theater screen it's crazy, dude. The pirate world is nuts right now for this streaming stuff. So let me ask you this. Let's say Disney looks at it in Shang-Chi in September. Yeah. And they go, Disney Plus doesn't give us enough on this. We're not doing Eternals on Disney Plus and no other movies. Do you think people complain about that or no? Because it is an add-on thing. I don't think people will really care as much as if, like, when new releases stop at Warner Brothers. What do you think?
Yeah, no, nobody's gonna care. There might be like two people,
Yeah,
but
Jammer.
if you want to watch Shang-Chi, you're gonna go to theaters and watch it. And I hope I haven't seen anything um to say otherwise, but um as far as I know, I don't think that it is going on Disney Plus for now.
Shang-Chi? I
Yeah.
thought it was. I thought
No,
Feige.
the last email that I have from Shang-Chi does not allude to that.
Okay, I might have.
It said in it because they're very specific in the way
Yeah.
um they word things in emails, and everything I have for now is in theaters.
Okay. Yeah. There, I see. May 13th. It was something where they said they could change their mind. I'm looking on the Ronin. It was just one of the top things, and they've got a tweet here and a quote from Chapek, and so yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
I honestly think they don't do it at all. I think Black
no,
Widow, if that number holds true, they don't do it.
no, and I think that the last one they're going to be doing is Jungle Cruise, but that one got
Maybe
announced a
that's what
long
I
time
was
ago.
thinking. Maybe, but somewhere
Yeah,
in there was like a hey, we're looking at this, and if it doesn't, we won't these. So it's awesome. It's kind of good to me because it shows me that at least they have faith in theaters to fund them.
look, man, I visited 3 theaters this past weekend, and people were in all of them. I mean, just is it the same big giant crowds? Well, not necessarily, but it was good crowds, and the rooms were pretty well filled. People were enjoying their movies. So it gives me great pleasure to see people getting out and watching movies. It's nice.
Absolutely,
It's good
absolutely.
because it's a huge industry that employs a ton of people, and then also like you've mentioned alluded to many times, it's the way you get more movies made. So unless
This is
it
the only
unless
way
it's
to
a
make.
Transformers
Yeah,
movie, which is Asia's dilemma.
yeah. Thank you, China. Thank you. Anyways, uh, when it comes to the movie aspect, finally got my TV replaced. Right, bought it few months ago. It was a gift of sorts, and it was damaged in shipping. Got it replaced. Finally get it, and it's installed, and it's nice. It's big. It's fancy. Got all sorts of bells and whistles. I would still rather watch the Suicide Squad in a standard screening room with just regular size screen, regular speakers, and regular seats than watch it on my TV for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Saying like
Hmm.
I'm done with not seeing these types of things in theaters. I've been talking about it for 16 18 months how worried I am about theaters and people going back to theaters, and hey guys, you haven't let me down so far. People are
Yep.
going and watching movies. You're consuming, yes, consume the sweet entertainment content, uh, and then consume our entertainment content and news content. Anyways, it's great, and look, it's jobs, it's business, it's tax revenue for your locality. It's getting more movies, it's getting more toys, more collectibles, more content, which keeps us in business. So thank you. It's just it really is heartwarming to see people getting back to a sense of normalcy, even while we're not out of the woods yet, as the overused uh, saying goes. But things are mostly looking better. Hospitalizations and deaths overall down, not going up in the same numbers as new cases. It's we're on a good good track. And well, I wonder really what's going to happen as the world isn't able to consume as much content as some creators, especially on the YouTube and podcast side, people that used things like podcasts and videos, Patreon, YouTube to supplement income. What happens when they disappear, when they go back to full-time regular jobs? And as people don't need as much content, I kind of wonder what's gonna happen with the streaming services. I mean, there's a lot of them now. You and I brought up the ideas. Are we ever gonna see like joint streaming service ventures? Where Netflix and Amazon team up on one app, and it's all shit. Like, it's a really interesting thing in what we're gonna go into, because it's not gonna be what it was before the pandemic, and it's not going to be like it was during the pandemic. It'll be weird. Anyways, I think we should just go ahead and go to our sponsor now and do a good reset after all of that awkward silence. If I could get the damn thing to load. There we go. Yay!
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Hey, Bezos made it out to space and back. I know you don't care. I know you're scared of space and don't want to go, but I will say this. I tweeted it out yesterday, but all rockets are phallic. I mean, it's a long, cylindrical, rigid object, right? So there's not much you can do.
Like something out of Austin Powers.
Dude straight up embraced the fuck out of the design. It reminded Christine, because I was like, it's a penis. That's a, and she's like, it's like How I Met Your Mother, when Cranston's character designs the building that looks like a penis.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude straight up gave it a head.
Yeah.
It's just, oh God.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's ridiculous. So
Look, I've pointed out that yeah, sure, we could ask them to do different things with their money, but there are a lot of really good potentials here when you start looking at making space travel and orbit, especially once we're able to do orbiting on a civilian level. You start looking at additional applications outside of recreation. You start looking at things like, what health benefits could you have during OT or PT from 0G? Movement without restriction, without gravity, being able to stretch limbs that, things that you usually would do in like a water aerobics or something like that. What could
you gotta go to space for that?
What could 0G do? That's far distant future. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm not looking at it as just space tourism. It's going to go beyond that, as every industry, I should say, starts looking at ways to monetize it. It's just like the internet. The internet started out basically as a way for government and schools and laboratories share information, right? And it gets handed to the civilian world, and they're like, okay, well, businesses could use it to message each other. And then you start getting interconnected networks with businesses, and then all of a sudden in the 90s you have AOL online, and it now look at the internet. It's gone from sharing laboratory research in ARPA to the business and school world, to you get your food delivered by it. You don't even have to talk to a whole human being your entire day with it. I honestly think space travel is going to be very similar, man. It's just the way tech is. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that one. I just wanted to bring this up and And
Yeah, no,
yeah.
even that just made it more ridiculous for me. And I was like, yeah, okay.
So this is the really big thing in the tech world that I did kind of want to talk about. Everyone flipped their shit last week when Steam, very very famous for Half-Life, Team Fortress, of course, the Steam gaming app, and the failed Steam machine. But now we've got this Switch Pro, guys, straight up. Fully programmable, runs the custom Steam OS. There's 3 tiers starting at like 400 and going up to 650. You will apparently be able to use change out the NVMe cards, not the eMMC. So that storage you see there is changeable. There's SD cards. You can sideload apps. You can install Windows, plug this into a dock, put a mouse and keyboard to it, and play games on a monitor. Now it's not going to be like 4K, 120 hertz, but 1080p 60. Yeah, why not? All of that in the palm of your hands. Battery life seems to be an issue with most people kind of breaking down the size and power specs, but dude, when you think about that, that's a fully functioning PC. You can install Windows. It'll play all your Steam games. $530, man. That's awesome. And so, why can't Nintendo do 1080p in the palm of your hands? I mean, shit.
Well, we talked about that already. It was probably just a marketing thing that happened where
yes,
you needed to get more Switches out, and that was the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both agreed. Look, they got a market for that. They weren't looking to sell everyone a new Switch. They were just looking to sell more Switches, and that could potentially be to do a good old bait and switch next year with a Switch Pro or Switch 4K or Switch HD or Switch 2 even, whatever they want to do, where then you have an even bigger group of people that are, I'll upgrade this one and give my old one to my kid, my niece, my nephew, cousin, whatever.
If you have a Switch and your kid doesn't, shame on you.
Well, like, so you might have a younger kid that when you bought it, it's been like 3 years, but you bought it for you when they were like 2. You know what I'm saying? And it's the family's Switch, but you could pass it on. Like, that's how things went in my house usually. It was like dad would get a new computer, or the family would get a new TV. The big TV would go to my parents' room. Their TV would go to mine. Mine eventually went to my sister's. Like, that's not normal.
Oh no, I bought my daughter's Switch years ago, and I barely got mine this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And no, as far as tech, sometimes I just get it for her because it's annoying to have to share.
I can get that, but dude, I mean, just hands down, the fact that you can get a fully functioning PC, get a dock, and other USB-C docks will work, but they're gonna have their own, and it'll, I guess, in theory, work better because it's designed for the device. But if you had one in your hands right now, which you can't unless you're on the dev team or very 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 special tech outlets, you could use just any USB-C dock. And this sticks with Gabe Newell's open source mentality, his open development mentality. I mean, if you guys go on Steam and you look at their indie games alone, they're great with that. And I'm excited about this machine. Q2 of 2022. So you're looking at springtime. That's awesome. Great. I don't know. No, man. I kind of look at this. You've got AMD about ready to release legit processors that can run games on ARM CPUs, the same type of CPUs that are in like Chromebooks and most old phones and tablets and things like that. Not traditional like x86 architecture or anything. A completely different architecture. And one of the things is it's been really hard to get it to communicate with games designed for Windows and Windows processes, and that's why you don't see a lot of Linux games able to run on Linux, which can run on ARM processors. And it's just interesting now that we're getting into this handheld PC viability, and the fact that some ARM processors are now going to be able to get discrete graphics support. I honestly don't know what the future of consoles looks like now, because the Xbox Series X is a PC in a console shell. The PS5 and the Switch are really the only last two kind of, and even the PS4, 3, 4, and 5 all ran like Linux versions and are still kind of very PC-ish. I don't know how much console life is left outside of the handheld market now. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Regardless of the hardware, it's still a console. The Xbox
Is it?
is a console, yeah.
What happens when they're all literally cross play and there is no more exclusivity, because they can all legitimately run on each other's shit because it's all on the same hardware? Because now, when you start talking about getting a competitor against Apple and Microsoft as far as being able to run processors and discrete graphics, Linux is free. Anyone right now could go download one of a dozen different Linux distros. Okay, dude, that forces Microsoft and Apple to reevaluate shit. Because what is one of the biggest reasons you'll hear people say they stick with Windows or maintain a Windows computer? Games. They might love Microsoft, Apple out the ass, but if they're gaming, they're not using Apple.
No, that's okay to have both.
Right, it is.
I have all Apple products except for my laptop.
You're seeing these Linux-based mindsets, people, groups, companies starting to put out things, straight up chip manufacturers trying to figure out a way to break the stranglehold of Intel and AMD. And AMD is actually working to break their own stranglehold. Like, it's crazy because they see the potential there in Linux, and the fact that, God, guy, whether you know it or not, even freaking Android, you use more Linux products and Linux-based products than you do anything else in your life, including every time you stream something, log on to a cloud storage. All of that is Linux-based. It's fun though, man. I'm excited for it. Is that anything you'd be interested in, like a legit handheld functioning PC?
Nope. Don't need it. I don't play PC games. I barely have time to turn on my PlayStation.
Could that get you to go over to some PC first person shooters?
Nah.
No.
I don't have time for it. I have a Switch and I'm happy with it. It's like I'm just not that big of a gamer. Huh?
Do you play mostly for first person or like local multiplayer, like you and your daughter, versus like over the internet?
Yeah.
I can get that.
But I see it, and I see one of the coolest things I think I saw about that Steam Deck is that even if your PC is not as powerful as it should be,
mm-hmm.
that the Steam Deck's actually going to share the memory,
mm-hmm.
And it
share some of the load.
Yeah,
when
some
you're
of that.
using it as like a stream.
I think that's pretty freaking clever. And if you use Stream, then I'm just interested in, does Steam really need a handheld? Because I know a lot of gamers, once they get used to a keyboard, they love the keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so I don't necessarily see this as a necessity, like a Switch Pro, because like a Switch Pro, that's the only place you can play those games.
Right.
And so if you want to game a Smash Brothers and things like that, you want a better system to run with. Mm-hmm. But with the Steam Deck, It's like I already have my I don't know, Alienware or whatever type of
Right.
laptop that you have to game, which is technically already portable, or you've already spent thousands and thousands of dollars on an amazing home setup. And I think a lot of people would rather come home and play
Yeah.
than to do it on the handheld. So if you're using Steam, you're already set up. This almost just seems like extra. It doesn't seem like a necessary device.
This is the one reason I would consider it. Um, since it's a full PC, you're right. If you've got a laptop, you don't really necessarily, unless it's older. Maybe it doesn't play the games. Maybe you've been using it mostly for office work. So if that's the case, and you're like, hey, I would like to do some gaming on my business trip, or during my weekend excursion to Hollywood movie premieres or whatnot. This could theoretically replace your laptop. You buy this, you've already got a mouse and keyboard. Almost everyone does, because no one really likes typing and using trackpads unless absolutely necessary. And then a one of those portable displays, if you wanted to. Literally, this replaces your laptop on business trips, allows you to cut down on the clutter, gives you a little bit more power on the gaming side. And at night or in the afternoons, you pop it into its dock and connect it to even the TV in a hotel room, or your personal portable displays. And I see a market, but you are right, it's not a massive market.
No,
What
it's a very limited market, because like me, for example, it's like, am I going to spend that much money, or am I going to spend a couple more hundred on getting me a good laptop? I'm going to get the laptop because it's not only can it play the games, but it can also do other things I may need it to do. It's for it's an extra. It's not a necessity.
Yeah.
I think. And if you get it, cool. If not, then I just don't see like an influx of, oh my god, I gotta have this, or too many kids looking for this for Christmas, because I don't even feel like it's a kid's device. You have a very small age group also that this is actually meant for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I want one so I can play Team Fortress 2 in bed. Like, that is the dream. And I know I could do it via streaming and stuff, and I've got a decent rig to stream from. But the idea of being able to run it natively on the device, and it not suffer as much from lag and things like that, it is kind of enticing. And then, like I said, the fact that you can access all of course your Google productivity apps and things like that, and load up other things, extendable storage with the SD card. It seems like a really good deal for a person like me, who games, on those types of things. But
you are their target audience.
Exactly. But again, I'll point out to the broader scope of what it potentially means, by the fact of the cost to performance. And I do know, like I said, batteries been a talking point for several reviewers and people that have talked about it. But I see this might actually, there are on the markets right now a bunch of these phones that are gamer phones. Asus has one. Freaking, I think Sony's got one. There's some Chinese handsets, gamer phone with fans, dude. A phone with active cooling. I think we're about to go into another phase of some bricks in our pockets as people look to expand what the phone can do. So I think we're going to see people basically taking the tablet and foldable idea and kind of shrinking it to this size, maybe a little bit bigger, but it's going to be thicker again, is kind of what I think is going to happen until these new uh, uh, discrete cards or discrete graphics cards, new foundries for processors and shrinking dies and stacking the memory cache. All this stuff is going to make its way to our pockets, is what I'm getting at. And I see gaming becoming a more unified world, and it's going to be underneath the personal computer master race, whether they know it or not.
PC gamers think they're so much better than everyone else.
Their equipment is usually.
Oh yeah, that is
the
true.
people aren't. I'll say that right now.
Yeah,
I joke with it, but yeah, they can be trash.
Yeah, it's fine. Wherever you used to game, as long as you're having fun, whatever. I don't care.
Well, yeah, and
I will say that this new device reminds me so much of a Sega Game Gear.
It does. It does. I know several people that have held it, compared it to the like the Wii U controller, and
okay.
and they actually pointed something out, that while it's big and bulky, it's actually a very comfortable controller when you think of it as what it is, a handheld, not just a controller, right? The triggers are good, the thumbs are in a decent position, and
they're pretty high.
It is, and that's what I thought I remembered, because I don't play with the Wii U controller that much, until I went back and I held it, and I was like, you know what? I think it's only high because I'm used to my PlayStation controllers. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel bad. It feels different. But when I looked at it just as is this comfortable? It is. And so I wonder how they'll do with the weight balance. It's a heavier device. I think it's like 600 some odd grams. And I was trying to think of the metric weight. I was like, is it a mega, kilo? No, those are all big. What the hell? But yeah, it's like 600 some odd grams. I bet the weight is better distributed than the Wii U. So we'll see. I am, Lucas and I both play TF2, and it's enticing, almost for that alone. Just the idea of him and I on road trips in the car, connected to the hotspot playing TF2 while my poor wife has to drive, because I can't anymore. Well, not very far, at least. Anyways, that's going to about do it for us today, guys. Box office numbers and a wonderful Tech Tuesday segment, all brought to you guys by the wonderful folks over at Grow Generation. Manny is going to take the next couple days off to go be a slacker.
Well,
no, he's going to go do some work.
The thing is, I'm taking the vacation due to work, because I'm going to a screening of Old tomorrow, and somewhere in between I'll probably end up at a screening for Suicide Squad. Ooh. So while we are going to the beach and going to Six Flags, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of work as far as checking out some films that the studios were so gracious to invite us to.
Okay.
So
sounds
there's
good.
Double purpose, man. This day and age, there's no time to just take a vacation. But yeah, no, I really need a couple of days off, and especially with the lack of Comic-Con. So this was the opportunity.
There we go. So tomorrow, depending on the news cycle, because like I said, we got a lot of Star Wars stuff going on this week, guys. So keep your eyes and ears tuned to lrmonline.com, our YouTube channel, LRM Online's YouTube channel, and the Genreverse Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts from. Literally, just type in LRM Online Podcasts. You'll find all of it. And there's some potentially big news that we have heard, and we are trying to verify. And as we verified, as we did yesterday, we will be releasing written pieces, and the Daily COG will be. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. I just kicked my desk. The Daily COG genre will be helping with the reveals, and potentially, if all the the stars align and the maker smiles upon us, we should have a really, really special treat on live for you guys on Friday on the Cantina, our Star Wars show. It'll be live on YouTube, so you don't want to miss that. And hey, if you subscribe and it turns out we can't confirm something big, you're still going to get amazing content because you're going to get a Marvel show. This week, Nick and I are talking about what's coming up in the multiverse, some theories, some rumors, and legitimate leaks that are well known. Try to connect some dots. We have the Animeversal premiere, Animeversal reviews podcast, Midnight Run. Christine and I are doing Chobits. That's right. You guys are going to get another puppet show with anime characters' faces taped to action figures because I have no life. Thanks. Please check out the last AVR Midnight Run, Domestic Girlfriend, available on YouTube. You can listen to it on audio, but you're missing out. You're missing out. In addition to that, the Daily COG, the Star Wars show, and Breaking Geek Radio, all that stuff's there, and it's free. Help us keep it free. Subscribe, watch, consume, and every now and then check out those ads. Manny, what's coming up on the interview and review side? You said Old and Suicide Squad potentially, so that's something to look forward to. What else?
Yeah, I have an interview with one of the great Mexican chefs. Actually, she was named one of Time's top influential people. And that's going to be up a little bit. Gabriela Camara, she's actually featured in last week's episode of Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. We would have had it a little bit earlier, but she's been having a couple of internet problems, so it's gonna be a post piece. But man, somebody with that kind of those kind of chops and what she's doing with Mexican cuisine to modernize it is fantastic.
Nice.
If you haven't watched Gordon Ramsay Uncharted, I highly suggest it. It may be Gordon Ramsay's best show that he's ever produced. Although the F Word, where his British show is also really, really fun. So I got that coming up, and then do not miss out on all the red carpet or blue carpet interviews that Nancy and Gig took part in last week, which are up on our site as well.
There you guys go. Our social media information is down below if you can watch us on YouTube. If you can't, I'm at that Kyle Malone on Twitter. He's at LRM_Emmanuel on Twitter. Be sure to follow the website at LRM_exclusive because we are always posting great stuff there for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow with someone. I'll be on live on Thursday.
Less good looking, unless it's his wife, which in that case I take it back.
Okay, yeah, very true. Thanks, Manny. Have a good trip. We'll see you guys later. Bye.